Hey everybody, and welcome to Bright Founders Talk at Tami. Tami is an international software development company that designs, builds, and delivers software for sustainable businesses and promising startups. Welcome to our podcast where we bring you the most inspiring stories of entrepreneurs and experts in the software development industry. Each week, we interview successful leaders who share their unique journeys and valuable insights. Our today's guest speaker is Fabian de la Fuente, who is CEO at Solaires Entreprises. Hello, Fabian. How are you doing?
Hi, very good. Thank you. How about for you?
I'm good too. Good morning to you from your side.
Yes, good morning on my side. Good afternoon on yours.
Yes. So I would like to start with some kind of creative question, not about your company, your entrepreneurial side, but about, let's say, your hobbies, your preferences. What are you doing in free time? What book or podcast has had a significant impact on your personal growth and professional as well? And will you recommend it to our audience?
That's a really interesting question. And I have to date myself here. So I'm 53 years old, just so you have an idea. So one of the most impactful books has been Ogilvy on advertising. That is a marketing book written by David Ogilvy. This is a 1980s book, and he's a guru on advertising at that time. But most of the content of that book is still applicable to this date. So Ogilvy, he was a visionary, and he thinked about outside the box. And he didn't follow the rules at that time for marketing. And he created fantastic campaigns and changed the industry at the time. So sometimes when I'm doing negotiations and that, I remember about him, what he did and all that. And yeah, it has helped me a lot.
As a marketing specialist, I need to write down this for 100%. I will check it. Thank you for this advice. Yes, and so is it marketing your kind of passion beside clean tech and something like this?
No, it's really interesting. So let me tell you a little bit about my background. I was born an inventor, but I never studied engineering or science or anything like that. I studied business. And then the path for business was marketing. I was born in Mexico. Now I live here in Canada. And in Mexico, it's really hard to be an inventor because there's not support for inventors. So I had to follow the business side and the marketing side, but I always had that thing about inventions. And that's why I become an inventor when I moved here to Canada. It was really easy to take my inventions to market. That's basically how I got here. By the way, my short-term memory is very bad. So maybe sometimes I start answering the question and I don't complete answering them.
Okay, and what was your way of jumping from business to clean tech? Was it hard?
Really interesting. So I also have to refer a little bit about myself. So I don't like to be in the same area or industry all the time. So basically, I didn't know this, but when I was in Mexico, I built a company and I will solve it within 3 to 5 years. And when I moved to Canada, I learned that now there's a term for that. It's called serial entrepreneur. People that build companies and then sell them. So that's basically how I did the jump, because I love technology, hardware and software. And most of the time I create the technology and then I sell it. And usually I was the chief technology officers of my companies, and I will have to find a CEO. And at some point, I started to do angel investments and in different areas. And I made a path of what type of companies I should invest in, like crypto, clean tech, med tech, things like that. So that's why I made the jump to clean tech, because I wanted also to be in this industry, clean tech. And also, I have an expiration date. I set myself for no more than 7 years in this company, in this industry. So basically, what I do, I create the companies and I sold them. Solaire has been in business for 3 years, so I guess in less than 4 years, we are either going to get acquired or go to make an IPO in the markets or something, and then I'll see what else is there for me.
And don't you have the fear that because of this multitasking in different industries, in different businesses, you can lose the focus in something, let's say?
That is interesting because in some cases, you have to learn. So, for example, when I started in the clean tech business, in this case, solar panels, I had to learn about the industry. I didn't know anything, basically. I have a basic idea of things. So I had to learn everything that was happening. And now I can say, yes, I know what's going on, what's going to happen. But yeah, after we sell this company successfully, I will go to a different direction. And I will have to learn again and do. But the thing is, I already have the basis for it. So I know how to create the company, how to create the IP and all that. And that's applicable to any other type of company.
It's really good that you have that desire of continuous learning, because what it can be better than learning all your life.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really exciting to be all the time learning, meeting people, meeting mentors. That's really, really exciting.
Yes. So we all know that building a successful startup requires a lot of resilience. Can you share a personal challenge you faced as entrepreneur and how actually you managed to overcome it? And what lessons did you learn from this experience?
So as an inventor, you have these ideas, and this may happen to a lot of people who has inventions. Like in their brains, in my brain, I can think about a solution, and then I develop the path all in my brain, and then I may put it on paper. When you have an invention, you think it's going to work. You troubleshoot all the problems, but there's an issue between having an invention and having product market fit. Like, who wants this invention? So you may have a very good invention, but somebody say, hey, maybe no one cares. And that's a problem for inventors. You have an idea, you create an invention, maybe you create a prototype, and then there's no product market fit. And then having to move to something else, or selling your idea to someone, or giving it to someone, or giving it to someone as contribution to investment in a company, and then they take it over. That's part of how I did. So the lessons learned there is I was able to develop a path from inception to exit on how to create the company, how to build the IP around the product, the solution, how to hire the right talent, and then building a prototype, and then do all the business development and sell the product, and then at some point sell the company. So that's what I learned, how to do all that through all the problems I had creating inventions and nobody wanted them.
Yeah, delivery and, let's say, correct delivery of what you want to create is really crucial for the success of your business. I can only imagine. And I wanted to stop here for 1 second. You said that once you have the idea, you can take a note. And what is more convenient for you to take note, for example, in your phone, in your laptop, or is it just on paper?
That's a very interesting question, because the way I manage myself is with pieces of paper. So I have a stack of just plain paper, recycled paper, and that's where I write my notes. And then I just throw it out. After writing them, using them, I just throw them out. If there are action items, I will write it again on a different piece of paper, and that reminds me to do the action items. When the list of action items is kind of full, and I may complete half of it, then I create a new paper with the list of action items that are not still done. And that helps me remind. So writing for me is very important to have all those thoughts.
That's the reason why I ask you, because I'm the same type of person. I need to write down something on the paper rather than, for example, take a note in my phone or laptop, something like this. So you have the diverse background as inventor, investor, and advisor. What has been the most rewarding moment in your entrepreneurial career?
So something really interesting is that I like to hire young talent. Because remember, I think outside the box. When you hire very seasoned talent, they already have their ways to do things, and you have your ideas on how you want to do things. Maybe they are wrong, maybe they are right, but you want to drive it the way you want, right? So in this case, I have found out that hiring young talent, it's better because then you can grow them the way you want. And hiring new talent also brings all these new ideas that didn't exist, especially for software. Software development, software tools change a lot over time. So if you hire a software developer that is seasoned and like 50 years old, he may have ideas on how to do things, but if you hire a recent graduate software developer, 22 years old, that he has already written iOS or Android software or things like that, it's way easier to work with them, and they work really fast. Now, the only problem is the quality control, because they are just out of the school and they don't do very good job on keeping things clean. So we need to have a QA person to check on them, something that you don't have to when you have seasoned software developers.
Yeah, that's definitely, yes.
I hire young talent and they grow with me. However, young talent, you pay them some wages that I already budgeted for, and they can make more money if they work somewhere else. So at some point, this talent that I hire, maybe I hire them under a contract of 1 year, 2 years, and then they go somewhere else. And it's very rewarding to see that they go to high-tech companies like Microsoft, Tesla, IBM, Amazon, and the likes, because they got all these ideas. They have this work. By the way, interns, we let them do the work of a full-time employee. We don't really differentiate too much between a full-time and intern. And so it's really rewarding to see that either they go to work in a big company or they got accepted into a master's in Stanford or other universities.
Have you ever thought about being a professor, for example? If you are really passionate about this thing, it's for you rewarding to teach someone.
I have a very interesting story for you. When I was 15, I got accepted to university. When I was 18, I was a university professor in Mexico. And I was a professor for 4 years. In fact, some of my students, actually, the first 2 years, all my students were older than me. There was no one younger than me. Until the third year, there was some people my age and then below. And it was really interesting time to be a university professor. It was on the area of logistics. And it was very rewarding. But no, I'm okay with doing mentoring and some advice, but no more classes, no more professor things.
Interesting story, which you can find for example, on LinkedIn. So as we started to talk about the innovation, about driving innovation, as a co-founder and CEO of clean tech startup, how do you navigate the balance between driving innovation and ensuring sustainability?
Extremely interesting, and the approach is really good. So when we first created Solaire, we created with this idea of changing the world, because we really wanted to leave something for humanity here, something really, really good. At the same time, we saw a lot of things that were needed to implement. So one thing is Solaire. My co-founder is Dr. Sahar Sam. She's a woman. woman in tech, which there's not too many, by the way. So we sit down and say, okay, what should we do? How should we drive this company? And one thing is that we believe in diversity, equity, inclusion, and sustainability. So one of the things we did, we hired a sustainability intern that later became a manager. And she created all the manuals and all the culture around diversity, equity, inclusion, and sustainability that drives our company. So basically, and that has helped us get better talent that somehow we will lost if they didn't see this take on our company. We have a lot of women in tech working with us, and I think that has to do a lot with our co-founder is a woman, so that really helps. So basically, to drive the sustainability part, we have a net zero program where we have taken the necessary steps to reduce our carbon footprint in both in our business side and on our manufacturing. Let me tell you something really interesting. Traditional solar panels are made of silicon. Silicon, it's although some people think that solar panels are clean, yes, on operation they are clean, but the way they get manufactured, there's a lot of GHG pollution created because they need to grab the sand, they need to burn the sand to create ingots. And in that process, they use a lot of heat that create gases and lots of water to cool it down. And then the process mostly take part in China, and then they need to ship everything to all over the world. And that, as you know, that also creates pollution. So what we created is a process that competes with silicon, but it's not as polluting. It's half the pollution as silicon. So it's way better. So it's cleaner. Somebody says, do not mention greener again because of the greenwashing thing. You need to, when you mention green, you need to show metrics. I don't have the metrics. So we have designed our manufacturing process around being sustainable. So when we manufacture, it's net zero. That's the idea.
Really interesting. And I want to continue this topic regarding diversity. You said that is one of the driving forces in your company. So build a diverse and bright team is essential for any startup success. How do you foster a culture of innovation and collaboration within Solaires?
It's okay. So what happens here is that because we have all this diversity, we are to hear different points of view and have different ideas. I don't know if you have heard this story when they created the electronic faucets. It's really interesting because a company in the US created those electronic faucets that when you put your hands, they deliver water so you can wash your hands. So they finished product development and they did their first installations, and they noticed that only work with white people. People of color, the sensors will not work. So they had to go back to product development again to change that. So that's a really interesting point, and it has been a very interesting point of view because sometimes we have different visions, different ideas from different people because of their background. If you see one day our team, we have many different colors, many different cultures, and that's what drives innovation.
Yeah, it's really important diversity in today's world, in our century. We need to work all day, all night on this because we still have not the best situation with this thing. Let's come back more about your personal background, about as an investor and inventor. So as an investor and partner for early stage startups, what qualities do you look for in entrepreneurs and their companies?
The first thing I look for is the team. Who are they? What drives them? Are they passionate about what they are doing? That's the very, very first thing. I have met people that pitch to me, and when they start pitching to me, they told me, I don't even care about the product. I just say, I think this guy really has it. And you can see it from the way they pitch, the way they are passionate about their product. I invested last year in a company in New York, and the guy got me the first minute because of him. I didn't care about the product. It was because of him. So yeah, that's what I look for.
So just to be yourself, we can say.
Yes, but be yourself and also be passionate about your work, that you really, really want to have it done, and you'll do anything to be able to do it. So basically, as an investor, you look for team, product, timing, and if the financials are right. But the first thing I look for is the team. Second thing I look for is the product. If it is a product that I really understand, I prefer to be in that area. I don't like products on an area that I don't really understand, because it's complicated to know if it's going to be good or not. So yeah, that's what I look for.
And do you have some kind of role model for you as an entrepreneur or some industry leader? And if you could have a conversation with him or her, who would it be and why?
Present, or I can choose from the past?
You can choose past and present.
Oh, Leonardo da Vinci. I'm really impressed with his work and how he drive all these ideas way many years or even centuries before their time. So it's as a visionary, I really like him, like everything that he did. So yeah, it will be him. I'll
nice.
have to learn Italian to talk to him.
Honestly, unexpectedly, that it will be Leonardo da Vinci. And also, I want to ask you, what advice would you give to those who are just starting their entrepreneurial journey, especially in the field of clean tech?
So one thing is, they have to believe in what they are doing. And the next thing I tell them is, you go to an incubator. That's the best resource you will have, because incubators like Y Combinator, or depends on the country you are. There's many different type of incubators. They are excellent sources for mentoring and networking, and they really, really help entrepreneurs succeed. Think about this. 200 years ago, how many literate people were in the world? And today, how many? Like almost everyone. And today, all the people has resources to the internet, laboratories, and knowledge. And the innovation that we can create today is it's a lot. Like it's very big. So there's a space for everything. So yes, just believe in your product. Go to an incubator, because they are going to really help you drive that idea into a solution and get it to market. Market is important. So yeah, that's the advice I always give to someone.
Yes, it's really, really important. Thank you. Thank you for sharing with our audience. It was really a nice chat with you. Thank you for this evening, my side, and morning, your side.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time, and I wish you the best.